Hello guys, and welcome to my top 10 PS4 games. So yeah, a few rules. I tried as hard as possible to stick to is no like remakes. So no like HD remakes of PS3 games, that kind of thing. And obviously my list, so so only games I've actually played. So obviously if you're wondering why God of War isn't in my top 10, it's because I haven't played God of War. And obviously my tastes are different to a lot of other people's, so try to keep that under in mind. If you don't think some of my games should be in the top 10, then that's up to you, but it's my list. Now obviously the games that are playing in the background are just games I've got on my hard drive. Obviously some of the games I've put in my top 10 are have been deleted and to try to make room for new games and the like. So they're just random games that's playing in the background that I've also spent time playing at recently and quite enjoy. And I'm going to give some special mentions. Basically, most of the games I'm going to make special mentions to are games that were very close to making the top 10 and just didn't quite make it. So we'll start with Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, obviously, this game came out on the PS3 first. I first played it on PS4, so I could have put it in my top 10, but I'm trying to be as strict as possible, because obviously I'll be there for days trying to pick a game. Grand Theft Auto 5 was an amazing game, just an amazing, massive map, so much to do. The story was great. The gameplay was actually quite good. Compared to Grand Theft Auto 4, I couldn't finish Grand Theft Auto 4. I just didn't really love just didn't really enjoy the mechanics of the game enough to carry on with the story. I just played enough of 4 so I could unlock the whole map and all the weapons, so I could just go and have fun. And Grand Theft Auto 5 just let you run riot through the whole map from the get-go. So that was great, but I did actually really enjoy the story and the characters. But yeah, like I said, came out on PS3 first, so I couldn't quite put it in there. Alien Isolation didn't quite make the list because it was actually kind of too good. I found it quite hard and very scary, so I didn't actually play it that much. So hence why it's not in my top 10. But it's great to have finally a good Alien Isolation game, even if it's not a great Alien game, even if it's not my kind of cup of tea. The mechanics of it, I've watched other people play it, and it's a really, really good game, really scary and stuff. But the other horror games did make it into my top 10, so we'll get onto those fairly soon. Assassin's Creed Odyssey was awesome. I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I like my history. It's my first Assassin's Creed game I actually played, and I'll probably be quite eager to play some more in the future. It's a great open world game, but I had quite a few open world games in mind for my top 10. It just didn't cut it, just because some of the open world was a little bit empty. But mainly the reason why it didn't make my top 10 was the endings. There's several endings, and neither of them really satisfied me enough to pick it for my top 10. So yeah, Nobunaga Oda's Sphere of Influence didn't quite make it in. This bear really was stuck on putting this, taking this off my top 10. It really was very close, but can't honestly say why I took it off the top 10, but it's I'm really quite into my strategy games, and this was an excellent strategy game, obviously based in Japan. So that's also kind of my thing, Japanese stuff. So really loved it. But yeah, just didn't quite make it in. Also, Firewatch didn't quite make it in. I loved Firewatch. It's a walking simulator. I know people use it as an insult, because there's a lot of people that don't like walking simulators, but I actually really enjoy them. So I've actually got quite a few walking simulators in my top 10, but I thought I can't put all the walking simulators in my top 10, so I had to drop one, and it just happened to be Firewatch, just because it's not quite as good as the other ones. Just didn't quite make it. And the last one not to make it in my top 10 is Horizon Zero Dawn, which, yeah, I know. I really loved Horizon Zero Dawn. I really did. It was excellent game. Great open world, great story. I kind of think why I didn't pick it was simply because it maybe revealed a little bit too much of the mystery from the game. So maybe, and I've got quite a few open world games in my top 10, so just had to feel like I had to cut one of the open world games, and Horizon Zero Dawn just didn't quite make it. Also special mention, although it wasn't really close to my top 10, is was Call of Duty Warzone. Been enjoying that. It's great. It's a great little game. But it's got no story. It's not a single player. It's a battle royale game. They've really done a good job on it, refining the whole battle royale thing. But it didn't really cut the mustard for a top 10, that's for sure. So yeah, we'll go on to the top 10. And the first one is at number 10 is Hatsumiku's Future Tone. Now this is a Japanese music rhythm action game. Both me and my partner loved it. It's got like this particular one has got like the biggest playset of songs on it, so that's why it's this one, not any of the others. And it's one of those games where obviously it's the same length. You can play it for such a short time. You can just go into it and play one song, and then so it's quite easy to pick up and play for a few seconds, and it's one of those games I actually do end up going back to every now and again, unlike a lot of games, even some of these in the top 10, it's like if Spider-Man or something like that, or Horizon Zero Dawn, I've completed it, I've got the platinum, I just don't really feel any need to play it again, but with this, obviously, it's music, stick in a track, everyone likes a bit of music, and it's just a fun game to play, so it's made it into my top 10. Number 9 is a walking simulator, What Remains of Edith Finch. Now, again, just a beautiful game, just great idea. The basic plot is you go through this amazing house, recreating or reliving your family's history through the eyes of these characters, just as they basically pass away. I know sounds a bit very, very depressing. It is quite sad, but it's done in such a creative way. All the different people, all the different characters you play as have very different play ways of being played, and the music's good, and it's just a lovely game. I just can't It is. I played it recently in a live stream, but it got taken down because one of the pieces of music is copyrighted, so it got taken down. So that's kind of unfortunate. But it's one of those games that can be played in like 3 hours. It's just doesn't cost very much to buy. It's just so much fun. It's just a great game. I think everyone should play it. Number 8, Until Dawn. A horror game. Yeah, played this all the way through. It's just so much fun. This game, just so much fun. So many ways of playing it. It's kind of like I would describe it as like a slasher film, like a slasher game, like a bit like Scream or whatever. Kind of that kind of setup. You got a bunch of teenagers coming to this house, and there's someone on the loose, trying to kill them and stuff like that. But there's lots of twists and turns, and the twists later on to make it a lot more interesting, a lot more darker than just your average kind of slasher type thing. Yeah, it's easily replayable, that game. Yeah, I was quite surprised by this making my top, being a game I was going to really enjoy. I was really shocked at when it came. I didn't buy it; it was free on the PlayStation Network Games Pass thing. So I downloaded it and just gave it a go, and it's just really good, really good. And yeah, I'm really so. If you told me when I first downloaded it this would be making it into my top 10 games of this generation, I would be like, nah, no way. Yeah, fine. I might enjoy this game, but there's no way it would make my top 10. But yeah, it was more mysterious, more interesting than I ever hoped it would be. So yeah, that's number 8 on the list. Number 7 is Spider-Man. Again, a game I didn't think it'd be quite as good as it was. Because it's obviously a bunch of films, kind of almost a tie-in thing. But it was just really excellent. The movement you got in the going across the city of Spider-Man was just so much fun to do. I mean, you could do that for hours without actually doing anything else. Just swinging from building to building, but that was done really well. And on top of that, the combat was just a lot of fun. I could spend my time just kicking goons' asses all day long. And the story was great too. The story is really interesting. Really impactful. So yeah, another one that was a bit of a shock when I first played it was how good what game was. And number 6 is a bit controversial. It's a bit of a controversial game, and that is The Last of Us 2. I loved the first one so much. Last of Us 2, not quite as good, but still excellent. Still an excellent game. I mean, graphically, it looks stunning. And the characters are great. Who thought, playing a character that you initially hated, you would then become engaged with this character and be concerned for their well-being and stuff. Thought just such a great idea, to be fair. Kind of swapping and being what you thought was the villain character halfway through. It didn't quite make it up to the as high as the first one on my top 10. And that was because it was a little bit long. It was a bit dragged in a couple of places. But it was a lot scarier than the first one. There was some really scary parts in this game, and one of them wasn't even, I guess, supposed to be horrific, and that was I'm not a big fan of heights, so there was a very scary part of the game where you were basically traveling across parts of skyscrapers, you know, on bits that look like they could fall off, or very slim ledges, and the wind was howling, and the graphics were so good it just made you feel like you were really on top of a building, and it was really scary, as well as some of the really scary bits with the old clickers and things, and I, like I said, really good plot, great characters, and some really scary scenes, and some really good graphics. So it's just, yeah, very good. And now, obviously, I know a lot of people might disagree with that being in the top 10, but it's my list. Where are we? Number 5, another walking simulator. I know, again, not everyone's cup of tea, but it's my list. It's Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Just so good. Just so hard to know. The graphics are great. The story is awesome. There's great mystery to be solved. It's beautiful to look at, and it's just one of those games that I keep thinking about replaying, and that hardly ever happens when it comes to games. I usually played it, finished it, on to my next game. But this is one of the games where I was like, I should replay that again. It's the fact that it's doesn't take too long to play as well. It's kind of good. When you've been playing all these open world games that take 70-80 hours to complete, this is nice to have a game where you're going, right, okay, let's just finish. Let's just finish it. Let's just stick this game in. We can finish it in two PlayStation sessions. And it's got a lot of hidden meanings. It's just a great game. Number 4, Detroit Become Human. Just so good, such a good game. Really makes you question what it means to be human and stuff like that, in big important lessons, story messages and stuff. It's great graphics. Even the main menus, it kind of interesting and interactive and all that. It's just so much to take in. And then, I mean, you can replay this game over and over again, making different decisions and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's another interesting choice, I suppose, that people probably wouldn't have on their list, but it's definitely on mine. And number 3 is Soma. Another horror game. That's 2 horror games in my top 10, which is very unusual. Very unusual. Another quite a short game. I'm guessing about 6 hours. I guess it takes to play this one. But yeah, it's just so good, so good. Again, another one with a interesting story, and kind of message about what it means to be human, and it's dark. It's a pretty depressing story, but then I can think that's kind of what makes it so good as well. The scares are there as well. You know, if you want a scary game, it definitely does that as well. There's some, and probably the only reason why I got through this game was because I actually played it alongside my partner. Else I probably would find it difficult to finish that on my own. That's for sure. But yeah, another horror is quite a shock, even for me, to have that another horror on my top 10. Yeah, it's another game that doesn't cost very much, doesn't take that long to play, so everyone should give it a. Everyone really should try to play this game if they have the opportunity. And number 2, another walking sim, and that is Dear Esther. Now this one is probably very controversial. I think a lot of people would disagree with this on a top 10 at all, let alone so high on the list. Now obviously Dear Esther is a very beautiful game. It literally can take you 2 hours to complete, but the voice actor does commentary over the top. It sounds awesome. Suits the actual story really, really well. There's a bit of nostalgia in there, mixed in there, because it's all set. It's set in the old Scottish Isles. Even though it's set in Scotland, it reminds me a lot of places I went as a kid with my parents in Cornwall and Wales. So I just loved exploring the islands. I love the story and the symbolism and stuff like that. It's kind of semi up to so it's kind of semi up to you what you think of the ending as well. And I really enjoy that kind of storytelling, kind of leaving it up to the player to decide what they think of the story and things. And yeah, so I guess that's another walking simulator. So I had 3 walking simulators there. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, like walking simulators, but it just is mine. And yes, I guess we're going to get down to the number 1 list, and it's another open world game. And if anybody knows me, they'll probably guess what this is going to be, and it is Ghost of Tsushima as my top game for this generation. Is it graphically the most amazing game? No, but it's still a very beautiful game to look at. And it has an amazing photo mode that, I'm not normally into the photo mode type things, but this was so easy to use. There's so much you can adjust. And there's and the game was so beautiful that I spent a lot of time playing this simulator. The photo mode, sorry. And it's just one of my dream games, really. An open world samurai game. I've always wanted to play a great samurai game, and this kind of did everything well. It did everything well. Combat was great. It took everything from the best samurai films and stuff and put them into a game. The armor and stuff was absolutely amazing. I could never really decide. I had to going through the game. I used to swap my outfits quite often because all the outfits looked pretty damn great. There was just your normal Ronin outfit, your samurai armor. It looked awesome. Now, obviously, there's definitely some improvements needed on this on the game that could be on this game, but we can talk about that some other time. Obviously, this is number 1 on my list, so let's just give it praise. The music was great. The fact there was no HUD clogging up your screen, you just saw the amazing scenery. And the standoffs, the combat standoffs were amazing. Just like the Akira Kurosawa film come to life. The fact that even had Akira Kurosawa mode was amazing. And the combat was great. Like I said, everything about this game. I mean, I played some samurai games back on the PS2, but there hasn't really been anything on PS3 or up until that game on PS4, to be honest, other than maybe some very obscure Japanese games. But to actually have a AAA game come out set in the samurai age, it's just, why hasn't anybody thought about it, doing it before? I mean, it's just crazily good idea. I mean, let's not forget the fact that you could do pet the foxes. The foxes would lead you places, so it's like not like you haven't got cursed markers on your map or on your screen. You don't have to deal with that on your screen. You can just follow a fox and find what you're looking for. It's just so good. And then you could pet it. I mean, that's such a great idea. So yeah, my top 10. Quite a few walking simulators. Quite a few open world games. So this generation really has done well in the old indie games and the old open world. Really good. This generation's been great. I mean, I haven't even got through half the games I would have liked to play this generation, because there's just been so many of them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my top 10 list, and I'm really looking forward to when PS5 comes out, which is next week in fact, so not very long, and I'll be bringing as many videos as I can of PlayStation from the PlayStation 5. I'll be bringing you the Playroom, which is the game that's already installed on there, and they're bringing a lot of PS4 games out for free on the PlayStation 5, which I'll be playing. Days Gone, because that's a zombie game. I always like my zombies. And the new the last Lord of the Rings game. Which, yeah, I've just watched Lord of the Rings recently, so I'm really stoked to play that. Don't see much point in playing it on PlayStation 4. So yeah, I'll be playing that on PlayStation 5. Anyway, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed my list. Like I said, it's a personal list, so don't get too upset if your games aren't in there or you disagree. That's fine. If you want to disagree, just put what games are in your top 10 in the comments. So yeah, bye guys.